Hey guys, it's Melanie, and today I thought I would take the time to update you guys on my mommy makeover surgery. For those of you that are new to my channel, I had a mommy makeover surgery, which consisted of a tummy tuck and a breast reduction back in December of last year. The surgery was December 11th, and so I am now a little over 8 months post-op. I haven't done any updates over the last couple of months because I've really kind of reached a plateau in my healing process. I still have a little ways to go. The recovery time for a tummy tuck and a breast reduction, mostly the tummy tuck, is substantial. It takes up to a year to fully recover from that surgery. It's pretty major. I did have muscle repair done with mine, so it really wasn't, obviously I benefited from like the cosmetic part of it, but part of it was also because I needed to fix my stomach muscles. So just a little bit of background before I tell you guys how I'm doing right now in case you're new. I do have a playlist where I take you guys from like beginning to end, not quite end yet, but throughout like the entire journey with me from like well before my surgery to right after, and then like weekly updates and monthly updates. So I will link that playlist down below in case you are interested. But the reason that I decided to have the surgery is after I had Stella, I knew I was only going to have one child. I'm not one of those people that needs multiple children. I can barely handle the sassy little one that I have on my hands right now, but our decision was to only have one child. And after I gave birth, my stomach muscles did not grow back together again. So, little anatomy lesson. When you are pregnant, your stomach muscles, they kind of start out like this, so they're locked together. In order to accommodate the growth of your child, they have to separate. So your stomach muscles essentially like separate. And in most people, a few weeks after surgery, a few weeks after giving birth, they start to kind of move back together to varying degrees. Some women are lucky and they just go right back and they go back to their flat tummy and they are good to go and they can have multiple children and not have any issues at all. When I had Stella, my stomach muscles stayed apart. So literally I had a gap that was like the size of my fist and a little bit more, like a separation essentially between my ab muscles. And what that did is it allowed my guts to essentially sort of spill out. Like there was nothing holding my insides inside of me anymore other than like tissue, like skin. So when I would eat like a meal, my stomach would and my intestines and stuff would like push through and I would start to look pregnant again. So after I ate a decent sized meal, I could look as much as 6 months pregnant again. And it was not only like annoying, but it was a health risk for me. Because of my job, I do a lot of heavy lifting, especially when I'm getting ready for events and stuff like that. And I'm carrying flowers and all kinds of heavy things. Like it put me at a greater risk for having a hernia issue. And I actually had my first hernia repair surgery when I was like, I think 4 years old. So that's something that I'm kind of genetically prone to, is having hernia issues. And so that is where your intestines like essentially like poke through, and it can be extremely painful. So I knew that I wanted to have that repaired, and I also had quite a bit of extra skin and just stretch marks from having Stella. I was lucky in that when I was pregnant with her, I didn't gain weight all over. I gained a little bit, like I started looking a little bit bigger in my face, but for the most part, everything was in my stomach. Like I got huge in my stomach area and, not really anywhere else. So all of my stretch marks were just concentrated on my stomach. And I didn't mind the stretch marks that much because I certainly don't go around wearing a bikini or like crop tops in my everyday life. Like I'm 35. I don't need to do that. But what really bothered me was looking pregnant when I clearly wasn't anymore. I had the breast reduction because that was actually something that I've wanted to have done since I was in high school. I grew boobs very quickly when I was in middle school and early on in high school, and I just continued to get bigger and bigger, and I just had enormous boobs. I kind of stopped counting after I was in like a quadruple D cup, so I was like done with the big boobs, and they just got bigger after I got done breastfeeding Stella. So I knew I wanted to have the reduction. Like, that was like the most important thing to me. So that was kind of the reasoning behind it. Just so you guys know, there was no way, physically, there was no way for me to repair my stomach muscles without having the surgery. So I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just saying that, like, there was no way for me to fix that by doing crunches, planks, sit-ups, whatever else. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. In fact, when I was doing things like that, I was making it worse. So I needed surgical help, and so that's what I did. So Craig was extremely supportive and helpful throughout the process, and he encouraged me, and he wanted me to do this because I wanted to do it for myself. He didn't make me do it or anything like that. You know, it was purely my choice, and I honestly couldn't be happier that I made that choice and that I went through with it. It was not without a lot of like overthinking and anxiety. You know, going into it, like I had a lot of anxiety because like it was a major surgery, and absolutely I could have had complications. And when I was signing my life away, going through all the pre-surgery paperwork, you know, it was very clear that like I could die like on the operating room table. I could die of an infection afterwards. Like, there was any number of things that can happen when you have a surgery like that. The recovery was rough. If you guys look back on my first few weeks after the surgery, you can see that I did not have it easy. I had a little bit of a more difficult recovery versus some other people who just kind of breezed through it. I did not breeze through it. So that doesn't mean that your experience would be like mine. I'm certainly not trying to scare anyone with what I'm saying here, but you just kind of have to be prepared for anything with a surgery like this. So let me just kind of take you to where I am right now. So a little over 8 months post-op. I still have swelling, especially from my abdominoplasty, right along my incision line. My incision goes hip to hip, and I will show you guys what that looks like as of right now. The incision doesn't hurt, but sometimes certain areas, like when I'm massaging them or like putting lotion on, they'll be just a little bit tender. The swelling really is the most annoying thing to me. I'm a little bit swollen today. Some days are better than others. When I'm working weddings, the swelling can get pretty bad. Because it's so hot, I cannot wear the compression underwear or the compression garments anymore because I literally just sweat like crazy. Like, it makes me want to pass out. So I just have to honestly deal with the swelling. Wearing the compression garments helps a lot. It keeps the swelling down. But I can't do it with the weather that we're currently having in Oregon. It is like 90, 95 degrees almost every single day. And a lot of days it's been really humid too. So I just haven't been able to do it. So that has caused me to have a fair amount of swelling. I think most of the other swelling that was due to like some of the liposuction that she did around like my waist, some of that still comes and goes as well. I have a little bit today. There are some days where I don't have any swelling anywhere, and I can see what the final result looks like, and it's amazing. And some days I'm like, wow. That's it. That's all the progress that I've made, and it can be very discouraging. But I do always have in the back of my mind that like until a full year after, like I really can't expect to be done healing at this point already. My breasts are amazing. I really couldn't be happier about having smaller boobs. I mean, that really is like, that's the highlight of my life. Like, I don't have to wear a bra if I don't want to. I do every day because I want to take care of my nice, new, perfect boobs. She took quite a bit of tissue out. I went down several cup sizes. And I still wish I was a little bit smaller. I'm not going to lie. I wanted her to make me like a small C. And for her, making me proportionate was more important. And her being my plastic surgeon, And so while I think there may still be some room for like shrinking later on down the road, once I start seriously like going on a diet and working out, which I'm going to be starting here in the fall. I don't want to lose a massive amount of weight. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think I'm fine the way that I am now, but I have some toning up that can be done, and also still a little bit of that baby weight from Stella that can definitely come off. Like I said, there wasn't much. If I lost about 10 pounds, I think I'd be happy. I can't honestly lose too much weight because I have a very athletic body type, and I would look like a bobblehead. I have an enormous head. I know a lot of you say that I don't, and you think it's funny when I say that, but I look very strange when I get too thin because like my face stays like the same round face. Nothing shrinks in this area, and then I just like, I can get thin if I want to, but I don't want to. I don't think that looks flattering on me, and I don't think that's sexy. Like, being super skinny is totally not my thing. If you are super skinny just by nature or because like you diet to get yourself there, I think that's fine. It just doesn't look good on me. I prefer to have a more athletic looking body. Like, I would just like to be a little bit more toned, I guess. So yeah, breasts are doing good. My incisions, the scars they're there. They're not as prominent as they used to be. They're certainly lightening up. I'm not as good about doing the scar therapy, so that's something that I really need to get better about doing. But honestly, my schedule has been so hectic during the summer that I've just said, like, screw it to all of that stuff. So I need to sort of get back on that and start using like the cocoa butter religiously several times a day and just taking the time to really massage the scars to loosen them up. The scars on my breasts are actually looking pretty good. You can't see the ones underneath at all. You can see the line going up and then obviously around like my areolas and stuff, but my boobs are just perfect. Like, it's crazy just looking at them and being like, they're perfect. Like, they're even, they're proportionate. They look like they belong on my body. Like, I don't have dudes looking at me anymore, which is amazing. Like, I used to always, like, I would be walking down the street and like people would just stare at my boobs, and like that was the most uncomfortable thing in the world to me. And I would constantly like cover up with like cardigans even during the summer and stuff, and like I didn't want that kind of attention. I know that some women like that kind of attention. It has just always made me uncomfortable, probably because I started getting that when I was in middle school from like grown men, and it was like, it just made me feel like uncomfortable. I didn't like it. So now no one looks at me twice. Like, I'm just like every other lady walking down the street. It's phenomenal and I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what my body looks like now. I am wearing jeans today and they've been like kind of digging into like my swelling a little bit. So you're going to see like some lines and stuff. But yeah, I think you'll definitely be able to see a difference from probably the last update. And again, I'm going to post the entire playlist down below in case you're curious. There's a before image or a before video where I show you like my body and everything before. So if you're curious, you can definitely go check that out. So I'm going to lift you guys up here like that, and let's show you what my body looks like. Okay. So in clothes, so these are my size 10 pants. They fit perfectly again, and I think I have my car key in here. So, you know, I can sit, and I no longer have like this like roll here. It's flat, which is really nice. So you can kind of see that like I do have some swelling here today. This was where she did some liposuction right in here. And that does get worse with the weather a lot of times. So this is just kind of, so that's the incision. It starts over here and goes over here. You can kind of see this little like, I think they call this like a dog ear here. I need to talk to her about that when I go in for my like checkup in October. These lines here, these are from like my jeans from sitting, but You can see it's like a lighter shade of purple now. And I don't know if there's anything that she can do about this or not. I don't really care that much. When I'm not quite as swollen, it smooths out a little bit. But you can see there's a little bit of like a bump right here. And that's the swelling that I was talking about. It just kind of, it's just there most days to whatever degree. But yeah, so here to here is the incision. And so it goes pretty low. And like in swimsuits and stuff, like totally covered up with the exception of, you can kind of see the little like dog ears over here. So here's that. And then in terms of my breasts, this is where they're at. I feel much more proportionate, honestly. So I'm just gonna sit back down here to finish up. And I do sit on an exercise ball. A lot of people ask me like why I bounce around sometimes. It's because I'm sitting on an exercise ball. So I'm happy. I have a appointment in October. I think it's either the second or third Friday or Thursday in October to go check in with my plastic surgeon. And then I will have one more checkup at my 1-year anniversary. And she has been taking like photos throughout the entire process. And she'll show me like the progression at that point. So I'm just very excited to see those photos. And, you know, I've kind of seen like hints at them like when she's had my chart out and stuff. But from before to now, it is just night and day. And I couldn't be happier that I was able to do this. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity. It wasn't a cheap surgery. We picked the surgeon based on her experience and the fact that I just like loved her and that she listened to me and that she was patient and caring. And you know, we went to a couple of other people. Well, I, you know, like talked to other people on the phone and who were less expensive than she was, but I just didn't feel a connection with them. As soon as I met her, like I knew that that was like the person to go with. So I do break down the costs of the surgeries in one of my videos. So if you're curious about how much it costs, you can go watch one of those. I don't remember off the top of my head, but you know, wasn't cheap. But I'm very lucky in that Craig was super supportive and you know, he was like, I just want you to be happy. So, and I am. I'm so much happier than I was before, and it feels amazing to have a core. I don't even remember, you know, when I was, like, afterwards, after having Stella, like, I couldn't remember what it was like to have stomach muscles and what that felt like. And, like, just in the last, like, you know, 3-4 months, I've been able to really kind of feel my muscles, like, starting to work again, and I'm getting a lot more strength in them. And it's just amazing. Like, I can get up without, like, having to, like, support myself. It was little things like that where, like, if you don't have a core, if your stomach muscles like aren't together so that they can work as a team, like you just feel very weak. And the fact that that is repaired is just an amazing feeling. And the fact that I have no more back pain. I used to have back pain all the time because of my enormous tatas. No more pain. That pain is completely gone, and it's amazing, and I love it. I love not having to wear a bra. Like I can wear strapless dresses. I can just put a dress on and just be like, ta-da, and like I waltz out of the house. Like I don't have to think twice about it, and that is amazing. I wish that I could have like felt this way like my entire life. To not be self-conscious. Like I spent so much of my life being self-conscious that I feel like I just wasted so much time. Whereas now I'm just like, here I am. You know, like I'm not trying to cover up all the time. I'm not wearing uncomfortable clothing during the summer just to like hide my boobs. I can wear a swimsuit, like, and it's great. It is amazing. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, definitely leave me comments down below. I've always been really honest about this surgery and what the experience has been like for me. But you know that like everybody's experience differs. I did a lot of research before deciding to do this and watched a lot of videos and read a lot of blogs So don't let my experience be the only experience that you look at if you're thinking about doing this. Check out lots of people, and definitely leave me questions if you have them down below. And I'm going to leave it at that. So thank you guys so much for watching and for your continued support, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.